Tonight we're here with Fred Minnick to introduce his new book.
Bottom Shelf, How a Forgotten Brand of Bourbon Saved One Man's Life is the title of my new book.
And Fred, I understand this is your 8th published book.
Yep.
And what makes this one unique from your previous books?
So this book is a memoir of when I came home from Iraq in 2005 and kind of how I was having some readjustment issues and how, I kind of discovered how to taste in therapy, and you jumped into the world of bourbon and became a taster. So it's a story of how I got into bourbon, and then at the same time I found this like really incredible pour of bourbon from Old Crow, a chess piece at Bourbon's Bistro, and that singular taste put me on a path to like find out everything I could about Old Crow. What was it in the beginning? Where did it, how was it made? Who was the reason why it went from being the very best bourbon in the world to being bottom shelf? And also studying and trying to figure out what happened to the man, James C. Crow, who was behind the brand Old Crow.
Where were you in your life when you decided you wanted to share this story?
Well, I've always been, up until about a few years ago, I was very reluctant to share anything about, my taste mindfulness stuff, because I was always very nervous about how people would take it. Because like ordinarily you don't hear about people talking about like, oh, well, I was in therapy and then I started drinking bourbon and then, everything was great. It's never the message I wanted to give. And then, I had shared it in a tasting that I had did, and the Today Show found out about it, and they did a feature on it, and I actually was very nervous about that whole thing. And then when I did it, I started having people reach out to me saying like, hey, I'm a therapist, and you're helping me get men in therapy. And so that's kind of like why I decided to talk about how low I was, how I hit rock bottom, and how bourbon became this kind of obsession of mine, something that I could pour my heart and soul into, and that really, really helped me in a lot of ways.
How do you like to drink your bourbon?
I like to drink my bourbon neat, unless I'm at a baseball game or a fight or something like that, in which case I might throw a rock on there. But I actually don't like my bourbon in cocktails. If I do a bourbon cocktail, it's either gonna be a brown derby or Manhattan, but I typically like it neat. For me, I like rye whiskey as my cocktail, or rum. Fred Minnick, author of Bottom Shelf, How a Forgotten Brand of Bourbon Saved One Man's Life.